as the rest of RLS, and that's going to be exactly what they need. In a quadra kill for Luru is going to be exactly what they needed to end this game.
Welcome one and all to game number 3. We have Trickle-Down Economics against New Wave Tsunami, a clash of kind of a rising tide, if you will, against a proven star with a brand new coach on the headline. My name is Escape, and I'm joined by the Boatman has returned, War Leader.
It is me, Boatman, and you know what I like to do after a tough loss in League of Legends? I like to do one of two things, Escape. One, watch some good freaking League of Legends, and two, go to FFS5esports.com/merch to look at some cool shit and buy some cool shit. But anyway, let's get back into that League of Legends part, looking at the draft so far. Trickle-Down Economics targeting down Swifty in that jungle, taking away the early game priority picks of Hecarim and Volibear, try and slow it down. Meanwhile, New Wave Tsunami going to take away Ashe from Ultravox, who has been absolutely spamming it. If you're involved in the FOF public server, you may have seen that actual 100% Ashe play rate. Match history is absolutely gross, but also taking Kane away from Leaves looked pretty good on it yesterday.
I'll be honest, I've been sitting on this one for a little while now. I would have picked you more as a reader than a spender. Obviously, you have access to that magazine. You can go through and read some interesting stuff. And speaking of interesting stuff, I have been asked to mention Trickle-Down Economics has brought in a big one this time. Not only have they been refining their team just on the individual level, making sure that they can get their teams strong and as good as they can, but they have brought in Mega Zero as their coach, retired professional player, challenger player, and a big name to come in and see if they can get this team up to the top level, start contesting those top seats. And you know what? Here it is. Ultravox going to be picking up that Jinx. Ashe is banned out and going to go to that hyper carry late game scaling, just beam down some auto attacks.
Yeah, and we'll have to see what New Wave Tsunami is going to pick into it, because Gimme a Reset's pretty fine on that Zeri, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him go to it. However, nerfs are through, and the champion is not what she used to be, so we're going to have to see what New Wave Tsunami actually want to prioritize the answer in that bot lane, with Ashe being banned and Zeri being in a rougher spot on the patch. They're going to first lock in the Lulu while they think about what they want to grab to match in that bottom lane. I do think Lulu is a very strong pick right now, and picking it up early is good and enables a lot of different bot lanes.
Bound to be ADC here, I have to imagine. Reset has been a proponent of using that Zeri, although, interestingly, looking at that Kai'Sa at the moment, Reset, very, very prominent Jinx player as well, has played it a few times, but really I remember Reset right now for the Zeri play. We've seen it done very, very well, and very notably, one of this team's 3 wins is against the reigning champions Yubi, where Reset had a standout game on that Zeri. It is going to be the Kai'Sa picked up instead. Kai'Sa could technically be going to Sunny. I don't know if she plays it too much. But really, really fun champion. My favorite champion in the game, like by a pretty decent margin. Has access to both that AD and AP build, can fit what the composition wants to do. And speaking of kind of adapting and upgrading, we have that Victor picked up for Mizuza in that mid lane. Kind of a staple pick for Mizuza thus far, just going for that late game scaling champion. Gragas picked up, I'm going to assume, for Zenzen.
Yeah, that's probably going to be for Zenzen in that top side, but I bet Bob Joseph plays it in the support role as well. And I would be a little surprised to see it go into the jungle as opposed to those other 2 roles, but yeah, I'm expecting the Gragas to probably just be flexed between top and support. Mizuza's Victor, I think he's been one of the best Victor mid players in the league this season. Ooh, Camille is going to be the answer into a potential Gragas. We'll have to see if TDE opt into flexing it around. So a lot of potential flexes early on. I'm still not completely sold that it's Kai'Sa in that bottom lane. As we get into second phase of bans, New Wave Tsunami taking out Leaves' Nunu, which has been a champion that we've seen do absolutely disgusting things on the Rift. Leaves very good at piloting that one, so to see that taken away is going to be a lot of pressure relief from New Wave Tsunami, along with all of these other jungle bans that came through in first phase.
Now, these 2 teams have a history, not just with the champion, but they go all the way back. Back in qualifiers, these 2 met in a best of 3 that went the distance, went to that maximum game 3 mark. We saw Leaves have a very, very good game on that Nunu. Now, both teams have improved dramatically since then. As you'd expect, it's been a little over a month, I believe, at this point, since these 2 initially clashed against one another, and they've been improving. We've seen definitely from New Wave Tsunami, TDE has made some big step-ups as well, having some solid showings in some of their recent games. So I think that this could be, you know, if it's the game 2, TDE did win game 1. New Wave Tsunami did take the game 2 in that initial best of 3. I don't want to read into it too hard, but this is a team that's been improving very, very, very quickly. It's been making changes as they see fit, and they're trying to put this team together in time for playoffs. They are contending for that final seed at the moment. So, you know, this is a big win for them if they can pick it up. As you mentioned, the Blitzcrank taken away from Bob Joseph. Maybe New Wave Tsunami not seeing that Gragas option. I wouldn't put it past Bob Joseph. We've seen some crazy stuff come out of there. The Nocturne and the Ari also banned away, and the Jarvan 4 being hovered right now from Swifty. And if I think of Swifty, Jarvan 4 has to come to mind. Some amazing steals once again into Yubi on that Jarvan, and that is going to be the lock-in.
Yeah, and I think that makes sense. It's kind of just where the jungle pool has been pinched. I haven't seen Swifty play a lot of Zac, which would be the other like main meta jungler. No one at our level really plays Lee Sin, so at that point, yeah, just go over to the Jarvan, make Leaves be the one to pick something a little more unorthodox. As we're probably going to see that come in on this pick right here. I'm really curious to see what he decides to pull out. Nope, we're going to delay that to pick 5. So I'm going to pass it back to you to talk about what you think of the potential flexes.
Yeah, okay, so Janna, okay, there is room for some craziness here. Okay, no, I'm guessing it's going to be that Greg is going into the top side. Janna is going to be staying in the bot lane where she belongs. As cool as and innovative as that strat is, I think has kind of died out at this point. We're going to be seeing that matchup with the Jinx. It's going to be a relatively difficult lane to kill. I am curious to see whether this is going to be an ADC, a mid, or even a support pickup here. That Lulu could be put into the top lane right now. And if New Wave Tsunami are going to try and pull something like that, it'd be crazy. I mean, obviously with that Camille, it's probably unlikely to happen. You could still see Lulu mid. They have a lot of things open. This is really going to dictate what New Wave Tsunami is going to do with their composition. It's going to be a Kog'Maw. I'm not even sure where that one's going, but I'm very excited to see it.
I think that makes so much sense. You get Lulu, Kog'Maw, and bot lane. I do not think there's any chance of that being a Kog'Maw mid. You have this pretty strong poke options with Kai'Sa and Kog'Maw. Really strong scaling options with the two of them. Lulu being a great support through all phases of the game. Valiancy has been waiting for games and games and games to get the opportunity to pick this Camille, and we're finally going to see them in that position. So with that, we're going to get into this game of League of Legends, and I'm really excited to see these comps go.
Yeah, I'm a little bit biased. I'll be completely real. Kog'Maw and Kai'Sa are two of my absolute favorites, both being put on the side of NWT. I just want to see those champs do well. Kog'Maw, being picked up by not Wash. Wash, I'm pretty sure, has been the only team to play Kog'Maw thus far. I might be wrong on that. Please correct me in Twitch chat. I know you guys will. TDE, getting ready for a big play in the bot side. Actually, both teams playing to this. I want to know who's calling out who right now. They're both making their way into the bot side. Are we going to see a 5v5? Or just one of a, bumped noses. We'll walk away. Here comes the immediate walk forward there. Swifty playing aggressive. There's the first bit of damage.
Oh, yeah.
For the Jarvan. Bob Joseph flashing some mastery. I think that's all we're going to get out of this. Unfortunately, both teams going for a big play there. It would have been so cool if one of them had just hung out in a bush and waited for an overextension, but that is the invade over. I think both these teams are just going to reset.
Yeah, that Demacian standard doing so much damage here at level 1, 45 seconds into a game of League of Legends. And we're going to see these junglers path over to their blue buffs, going to get nice and started, clearing opposite sides. But yeah, talking about these compositions a little more, I think that New Wave Tsunami's composition is really interesting because they have these poke options. They also have this crazy carry option with the Kog'Maw, while also having a lot of dive. We're seeing Sunny and Valiancy poking around in this top side of jungle, getting some deep vision to try and figure out where Leaves is going to go. I actually really like that. It's a little dangerous this late, but if you know where everybody is, you can go for it.
I want to make note of this. Okay, so I said that these two teams have history. They've played against each other a lot of times before. They have pretty similar coaching staffs behind the scenes, or at least they did at the beginning of the season. I know Joshi was very involved with both these teams. Obviously, there's that new coach coming in for TDE. See how that decides to affect the game. But noticing New Wave Tsunami pulling out some very specific strategies to try and deal with this. They're trying to track Leaves very, very aggressively here. Sunny going in super early to try and find that ward. And, you know, Kai'Sa has a lot of pressure in this early game, missing the one auto attack. But you move on. You do your best with that. Kai'Sa has a lot of pressure in this early stage. Just not taking Ignite. It loses you out on a little bit of your potential to just kill. She totally can do that at level 2. She's one of the strongest level 2 champions in the game. And now a little bit of trading in the spot side. Level 2 is going to be picked up by Ultravox right now. That walk forward from Bob Joseph, but you're still only level 1. The Ignite is ticking down. Janna, you don't have much base health. And now Ultravox has to run away. Minions still not coming through there. Finally, that level 2 does come through for the bot lane of TDE, but now that W lands, they're flashing forward onto Reset, who has to burn both sums to try and get away, but it looks like Ollie kind of assisting in some damage coming through here onto the Kog'Maw. And what is generally 2 scaling champions met with supports that will just allow you to live, we are seeing trades.
Yeah, and I think there's a little bit of disrespect from the side of New Wave Tsunami. They're just not respecting that level 2, and as a result, there's a lot of damage coming out, and that as that tornado hits, going to see even more damage coming out. So it's going to be Kog'Maw and give me a reset on the back foot early in this one. 3 summoner spells extended from the side of New Wave Tsunami, only the Jinx's Flash on the side of Trickle Down Economics. So they got to be happy where this one's at as they shove that poor Void Puppy under the tower.
Poor little guy, he's going to be struggling with this one. Very surprised how much action we're seeing down here. Was really expecting the focus to be around these junglers where they're going to be putting them. Obviously, Jarvan, Rek'Sai, you can tell me about this as much as anybody can. Those are 2 very early game junglers. You're expecting them to get into lanes very, very early. 5 camps for both. They're just going to their scuttle crabs thus far. There's really no great ganks on the map for either of these 2. Their lanes that they are next to are pushed in. The only real place you could go to right now is Mezuzah and Stunny in this mid lane, and Stunny is sitting on marginal HP, so we might see Swifty have to come over and help out right now as Lees has made it into the bottom side brush. Swifty looks like they're looking for a play as well. Very deep into the jungle back there, maybe just trying to get some vision before the recall. I like how NWT has modified their gameplay.
Yeah, these really deep wards are something that are really interesting, and actually something that...
Oh, there's no flash on that Kog'Maw. There's no way that Leaves can get out of here. Double knockup, just trying to find some damage, trying to find some CS, but Ultravox finds the kill. And now they're trying to reset onto Ollie, but I don't think there's going to be any room. That is going to be a wave and a kill picked up for Ultravox, and it's going to put that Void Puppy a little bit further behind.
Yeah, so we're going to see Jinx. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Flash is traded. Mezuzah going forward, looking for Sunny, but barely out of there. Fraction of HP, and going to be able to teleport back to lane. Leaves, looking for the... Oh, my goodness! Oh, my God. Prey Seeker, I believe, is the name of that ability that just took Kai'Sa's life. And with no vision, just the snipe from Leaves is actually going to put TDE in an even more commanding position. Now, all that really does is put 300 gold into the Rek'Sai, which, don't get me wrong, that's very nice for trickle-down economics, but Sunny was going to have to teleport to that mid lane regardless. So in terms of XP, in terms of gold, Sunny isn't falling any more behind than she already was going to be. So it's a really good play, and they do get a lot out of it, but it's not all doomed in this mid lane so far. Plenty of opportunities for Sunny to scale up and become that monster.
Yeah, I know, she's going to evolve and get stronger, just like her compatriot there, Victor, in that mid lane. Mezuzah just popping the ulti, grabbing that reset. This is a very underrated play for Victor to just get to level 6 on the one play and then drop the ulti like that, get the push in, and bada bing, bada boom. You're going to get a huge recall here. It's going to be very comfortable. You're not going to miss out on too much. There's Lost Chapter immediately picked up. I am a little bit critical of Sunny right now. She hasn't been able to have the pressure that she really should in that mid lane. Bob Joseph playing on such minor margins right now. Is that the tornado getting channeled, or is that just a little bit of a idle emote? Yeah, just patient there. Bob Joseph. Very surprised he hasn't gone for anything yet. Just some aggressive stancing, but same thing for Swifty right now in this top lane. Now, Zen, do you have the way to get out of here? There is the Hextech ultimatum that will start to cause some problems for you. There's the Flag Dragon to knock up, and this is going to be a dead Gragas. Ulti burnt just for the safety measure there. Zen goes down.
Yeah, and it's very important to actually set that Gragas down, because right now Zen has an absolutely monstrous 20 CS lead in that top side, which we didn't really get to see how that developed, but absolutely ridiculous play from Zen so far. Finally going to be quelled a little bit by that Jarvan gank on the top side, and both junglers have found early impacts in this one, getting things going for their individual side lanes. So we're going to have to see how this progresses. Now, TDE has about a 1k gold lead up, and both teams have declined on putting any extra priority towards this first to Drake, but I have to imagine that Rek'Sai is slowly going to path on down there and try and make a play for it. So that's what I expect to happen next. Mid lane should be a farm fest for a while, and man, I kind of want to see what's happening in this top lane if Valiancy's just missing these minions or what have you, because I'm very surprised to see Camille so far down in this matchup.
Yeah, I mean, in my mind, there should be an advantage. We see a big trade in the bot lane right now. Camera's not made it over, but there goes Reset. Bye-bye. Void Puppy chasing down. There's no heal available right now for Ultravox, who does get traded. And now it is supportal combat. Shielder versus Shielder, but there are the enhances on the side of Ollie right now trying to chase down Bob Joseph. I think that's as far as we're going to get with it, as we do get the replay on the other side of things. And yeah, no, it was just a W connecting just as the camera panned away. We saw that, and then there's the immediate engage. The Ignite was online. And Reset just still without his flash and gets caught out.
Yeah, but that Kog'Maw needs flash to come up. I mean, it's up now, but it needed to come up about 15 seconds earlier. I'm not sure if TDE were tracking the second on that summoner cooldown, but if so, props to them for taking advantage of a very vulnerable character. We're seeing some awkward positioning in the bot lane as both junglers look to get in, but Leaves is there first. Flag and Drive is going to interrupt Leaves, not able to get on top of Ollie, but here comes the ultimate. No, but there's no tag on Ollie. It's on Swifty, so the damage isn't through, and Swifty pursuing Bob Joseph. Will Demacian Standard be up in time? We see it, but not far enough to knock up Bob Joseph. Swifty will have to walk out of there. The one kill in the pocket is more than enough to make any Jarvan happy, as they should be able to break, but a solo kill in the mid lane. Let's watch how this happens. So Sunny's pretty chunked out and is looking for opportunities to just walk up to the mini lane, but Mizuza is having absolutely none of it, and Sunny takes a little too aggressive of a trade, and Mizuza's not gonna let themselves be disrespected like that.
I don't want to be a bully, but I am feeling quite critical right now of Sunny's Kai'Sa play. Just not at all respecting this Victor, not at all respecting Mizuza, and really not respecting her own limits on the champion. And Kai'Sa cannot do that. I don't care how, like, where you think you are. I don't know what players you've been playing against. You should not be able to do that. E is missed there from Mizuza, but that's all it takes. And yeah, Q and Ulti is able to pick that one up. Sunny falling very far behind in a lane that, you know, she should win. Kai'Sa is so strong in the early game compared to Victor. Victor really needs items to come through, the evolutions to come through. That's when he starts gaining his value. We all know that. We've all seen it. He's been here all season. It's not something that we should be news to. Kai'Sa's a little bit newer to that mid lane at the moment. It's a little bit of a trade back and forth on the top lane right now. Now, I wanted to talk about this top lane. To me, I might be wrong. Top lane players can correct me. I'm a bot laner. I don't see this side of the map very often. But just on the usage of abilities, I feel like Gragas should be winning this. Gragas has the harass, should have the wave clear, has the regeneration, is able to knock Camille out of her E if she does try to disengage from any of these fights. Now we see Valiancy going for another one right now. Valiancy clearly isn't too worried about my opinions right now. The Ignite comes down from Valiancy, and that's going to be Zenzen using the ulti to break the deck ultimatum. Valiancy on a sliver of HP. The cask will pop again, and Valiancy goes down.
Oh my goodness, nice edge to the top side. Valiancy thinks they can get more, but Bob Joseph here in the mid lane gonna find Sunny flash roll from Azusa, and Leaves finds the snipe once more, this time with a little bit of help from the vision of their teammates. Swifty looking for Zenzen up on the top side, but there's nothing to be had. Zenzen is so tanky right now. Cataclysm comes out, but will the damage come out? Challenging Smite doing so much work in that 1v1. Double buffs as well means Swifty is going to pick up that solo kill up on the top side. The Jarvan having all of New Wave Tsunami's gold right now, and the jungle response is going to be finally in 10 minutes. That first strike is going to go down over in that bot side to trickle down economics to have established themselves a pretty solid lead right now.
Oh boy, 10 minutes of this one's going to start to hurt Swifty's back, I'm afraid. Like, this is kind of misplays everywhere from New Wave Tsunami except for that Jarvan right now, who is holding down the fort and trying to keep New Wave Tsunami in their best position right now. They have room to scale. Obviously, Kai'Sa, when she's able to break into that 3-item breakpoint, she's crazy. She gets even crazier at 4. The later this game goes, she doesn't really have to be like, oh, you know, she doesn't team fight as well, any of that. She's going to be off your screen chunking you to half HP if you're Ultravox, if you're Mizuza. So if you can get there, it's pretty good. Kog'Maw, we don't even have to talk about. Lulu's an extra item for Kog'Maw. Kog'Maw's crazy the more items come in. That's an easily more than enough damage to pump out for an entire team. But right now, it's just Swifty, and I'm a little bit concerned. New Wave Tsunami has played this early and pretty effectively right now. Swifty having to flag and drag out of there does have that Herald Eye. Maybe should be dropping that one to one of those marksmen, going to scale a lot harder, but maybe they want to try and give Valiancy room to make this a 4v4. I'm interested to know where New Wave Tsunami is going to try and build their lead from this point, because the places where they really need to have their leads, not where they should have them necessarily, but where they need to have them, are just so far behind.
Yeah, and honestly, we're seeing that Kai'Sa's 2 levels down in that mid lane compared to Victor, and it just becomes so hard. I don't think it's even worth putting a Herald there, because even if you open that up and free the Kai'Sa, you don't really get anything out of it. Even if you get some extra money onto Kai'Sa, you don't really get anything out of it. So I really want to see Swifty going towards this bottom side, but when there's 4 enemy members here trying to deny it, it's going to be hard to get anything done. Bob Joseph very far forward. Swifty knows that there's numbers not on their side, not going to turn. Valiancy looking to skirmish in that top side once again. Utilize that.
And Leaves has found the engage right now onto Ollie, and bye-bye Ollie. The ultimate is burned, but that's not enough to keep Ollie alive. And down goes the Lulu. There's 4 people still in that jungle, and there's no answer. New Wave Tsunami tried to go there and deal with the invade that didn't really get anything. Now the vision is going to get even deeper right now. Swifty dodging out on that tornado, but they know that he's there. There's the knockup from Leaves, and there is still hunting in this jungle right now. The ultimate comes down from Ultravox, and we cannot show you that on camera. Ultravox is able to pick up that kill.
Oh my goodness, it's a disaster for the side of New Wave Tsunami. They realize that the only chance that they have to get back in this game is utilizing Jarvan's fed pressure onto the bottom side. And what happens? TDE are like, yeah, we understand that. We're going to send everybody bot lane, and the lead is going to grow. Oh, giving a reset, looking for the flash, not quite going to find it. Some longevity provided by that Lulu, but too little, too late as the Kog'Maw falls to 1 and 3. And the combined marksmen on the side of New Wave Tsunami aren't getting a whole lot done. Sunny trying to find an opportunity to get back in the game, forced to teleport back to tower, but not even able to defend it, as Mazuza's going to have no problem 2 levels up, just hitting that tower, grabbing the plate despite the burned summoner spell. Sunny's really just there to try and get some XP, and we see literally all 3 laners are hitting tower and getting turret plates. The gold lead has grown to 5,000 at this the 13.5-minute mark, and even though the dragons aren't stacked, oh my goodness, I don't understand what sort of prayers New Wave Tsunami have in this one, to be frank with you.
Yeah, scary at this point. They're losing out across the map at the moment. They're down 5k gold at the 13, 14-minute mark as those plates do finally roll off the table. And let's look at that right now. I think that was 4 solo plates picked up in the mid lane right now. Zenzen under a little bit of pressure. And it does look like that Valiancy is going to be the focus for grabbing this gold. But like we just said, plates are gone. This is too late. Swifty has been on the ball and on schedule so far this game, and maybe that death just set him off. And here comes the engage right now into Zenzen, but Leaves is here, teleport in from Mazuza. I don't think there's going to be any way for a safe disengage right now. Swifty trying to stay around, keep his top laner alive, but Valiancy will fall as soon as possible there. Leaves picks up that kill. Swifty has to get away and is left wondering, really, what can you do with this Rift Herald right now? It's going to time out relatively soon. The dive seems to be the position right now in the top lane. Swifty is cut down. And that is just a trap into a knockup into a dead Jarvan in that top lane. Maybe NWT is going to try and find something bot lane. No, I don't think there's any room for that either. It is just TDE left, right, and center.
Yeah, I've been this Jarvan in solo queue games before, and, you know, I've managed to come out, in my mind, ahead on these solo queue games by doing one simple thing, and that's called /FF. As this 15-minute rolls across, you know, you save some mental. That being said, you know, you don't want to do that in this kind of competitive environment, but things are really tough. Trying to find any opportunities to take the one thing that you've got in this game and help get your team into some kind of position where they can play the video game, but Leaves and the rest of TDE have been one step ahead throughout, as we see Valiancy taking an extended trade onto Zenzen, but he's so tanky. Ignite preventing any regen to come down, and Zenzen not able to escape. So a little bit of a consolation prize picked up in that top side. The second Drake, that Ocean Drake, does go down. It's a very delayed soul, but it's going to be hard for New Wave Tsunami to contest them at any point in this one.
Yeah, they need that top tower right now. Valiancy needs to be shoving that lane in as hard as possible. There's, you know, everyone's bot side. They just took Dragon. That's going to be some gold injection right now. Valiancy's playing so safe. There's no one there.
You see Rek'Sai.
You see everyone on the map right now, and there it is, Valiancy finally turning, but you've lost out on your window, I feel like, to take this one down. Zenzen still ticking back up. There's no TP available on that Gragas. You need that gold injection. You need to be able to get that Camille onto the map, and just hope that you can find some lucky 5v2 and start getting some gold in your pockets. This game has snowballed out of control so fast, 16 minutes, and you were already down 7k, and that tower does not get found. And that was a dwindled opportunity right there for Valiancy, unfortunately. But, you know, this game is looking so dire for NWT. I don't blame them for being a little bit scared.
Yeah, at this point, I think if you are a New Wave Tsunami right now, you're thinking, okay, we can maybe be champions around the 35-minute mark. They're going to have an Infernal Soul. What can we do? And I think they honestly just have to play to that. I don't think there's going to be a point in the next 15 minutes where they really have a chance at fighting any of the members of TDE unless they get some. Yeah, that's true. I don't. Man, I really don't know how you do it. This Kai'Sa is going to be so pitiful until that 3-item spike, and Kog'Maw is really far behind. Swifty is looking for an opportunity in that bot lane. They have Bob Joseph caught out. Monsoon is only going to delay the inevitable. My goodness, but Bob Joseph has so much survivability, and the Ignite doesn't come down.
It's just patience more than anything there. Like, how many people there are just gonna, I'm in Jarvan Cataclysm, flash, right? And then you're stuck anyway. Bob Joseph is able to use that Monsoon to just stay alive, has the shield on top of himself, and is able to get out of there with the flash. And it wasn't even that close. There's still a bunch of HP sitting right there. Reset wasn't able to get into range right now. Swifty a little bit caught out trying to contest this Rift Herald. And that was a good pick. That's what NWT needs. But like you say, there was other ways that they could get that kill. They didn't just quite commit enough to pick off the Janna, and it's so unfortunate to look at in retrospect. Like, that could have been just a boost. You know, that's not going to win you the game, but that could have been something for NWT to grab onto right now, and it really feels like they're just eroding away.
Yeah, and there's not much else for them to do. I mean, right now, unless Swifty and Valiancy can catch Zenzen making a pretty big oops, there's really not going to be any opportunities across the map anymore. And I think we're going to see just a bit of dominance from TDE for a while, just getting more farm than NWT has any chance of getting for another 2 minutes, pick up the Drake. And if NWT dare step any closer, they will be fought and they will die. The level lead in all parts of the map is pretty consistent for the side of trickle-down economics, and of course, 8,000 gold in their pockets ain't too shabby either.
I feel like they might be onto something with that, you know? Maybe this trickle-down economics thing has some merit. You know, there's a lot of money being put into their pockets right now, and it seems to be benefiting everyone pretty equally. Maybe they're onto something there. I got no idea, but either way, yeah, this is gonna be more money in the pocket right here. It is 4v2 in this bot lane right now. This Kog'Maw has both sums. See whether or not that's gonna be enough to get out of there. Great flash and Gale Force there from Gimme a Reset, but the flash comes through from Leaves. He is knocked up, but there's no damage at all coming up from this Kog'Maw right now. There's a Micro Laser to make you scared. There's no Super Mega Death Rocket connecting there for the kill. Now Valiancy taking the trade up top lane with Zenzen. We've seen this, baby. What a prediction from Zenzen that was thrown before. And now Zenzen might be able to get out of there. The Cask is able to keep him alive. The Prey Seeker, the Void Seeker missing for Sunny. And I think Valiancy's going to miss out on the kill opportunity. Great escape there from Zenzen, making me proud.
Yeah, I mean, they try to find that opportunity in the top side. A perfectly placed explosive cast from the side of Zenzen is going to get Zenzen out. No problemo. And with this Infernal Drake coming up in 20 seconds, I don't expect to see any sort of contest from the side of New Wave Tsunami Swifty. I've been in this phase as a jungler. You just walk around and you're like, okay, well, I can't really do anything anywhere. I don't know if I can even walk to top side because of how vulnerable bot side is. So you just kind of walk around and, maybe find a pink ward might be the best thing you can find, but that's not even free right now, as we're going to see Medusa bullying Sunny in that bot lane. Just the Death Ray first hit alone does almost 50% of that health bar, and man, Sunny still has a long way to go in terms of that itemization to become a real threat.
Yeah, and there's no longsword picked up yet, so it's going to be even longer. You really, I understand that this is almost certainly going to be a heavy AP build, Kai'Sa. I don't know if we'll be able to confirm that. Obviously, the game's going to need to be able to go a little bit longer for that to happen. Swifty, a little bit caught out in the jungle there, is able to just flag drag and get out of there. But you do need the extra longsword so you can get that Q online earlier. It lets you wave clear, it lets you actually trade a little bit more effectively. It's not as early and immediate as the Serrated Dirk does give it to you in the more AD auto attack focus build with the evolution and whatnot. But you do still need that longsword so that you can get the evolution. So that's just delaying any sort of spike that Sunny could be having even later, as maybe we'll see some kind of pickup. It's getting really desperate. I wanted to give New Wave Tsunami a couple points a second ago, just saying, hey, we're at the 20-minute mark. You guys are desperately far behind. You haven't dropped any inner turrets yet. Medusa is able to drop that first one without the assistance of the Rift Herald, and the Rift Herald just kind of hangs out and gives 50 gold to Sunny. But, you know, as dire as this game looks, I need to look at this from New Wave Tsunami's perspective. They cannot give up. They can't do that. As dire as the game looks, doesn't matter how far behind you are. They could be down 13k right now. They could be down 21k right now. They cannot look at this game as a loss, right? You do that, and you do lose. That's as soon as you lose. They still have Kaisa, Kog'Maw, Lulu. Valiancy is winning the 1v1s in the side lanes. That could lead to some time to stall. Are they going to be able to do it if they're playing into a Baron? No, Swifty is known for stealing these, you know? So everything has to go right for New Wave right now. And if it doesn't, TDE is going to end this game in another 4 minutes or so. But if everything can go right, you know, it's terrible to be here, but it's not impossible to make it out with some sort of an advantage. And you know what? New Wave Tsunami is a team that doesn't seem to really put their heads down if they don't have to. See what they do here is the Baron is being started up. There's no contest so far. It's going to be difficult to get in there. Bob Joseph right now done a really good job of clearing everything out. That blue ward does show a little bit there. Valiancy creating some pressure here on a Bob Joseph. Monsoon is burnt early. Now 6k, 5k on that Baron. They're kind of backing off. And hey, that's a stall.
Yeah, that's not bad at all. Very well played from the side of New Wave Tsunami to get that going. Bob Joseph maybe a little too far forward trying to clear that vision, and that's going to buy time. And time is what New Wave Tsunami needs, as we now see Sunny starts to do some damage. You land a couple consecutive Void Seekers, a few consecutive Void Seekers, almost finds Mezuzah, and maybe there's a little sun on the horizon. I say Ultravox going forward, trying to find Sunny, but the teammates are there, keeping her alive. Okay. I think we're starting to see that it's possible. And you know, when I'm in any one of my games with you guys on RLS, and we're in a bad situation, I always think, you know what? Canyon wins these. Owner wins these. If I'm a mid laner, Faker wins these. And so that's how you have to think when you're in these situations. Now Zen's looking for an opportunity, flashing onto reset. Great Gale Force, saves from the explosive cast, Mezuzah teleporting in, and the siege in mid lane is going to be up. They're going to try and turn that pressure into Baron. But honestly, a lot committed from the side, maybe not a lot, but a little bit committed from the side of TDE isn't going to find anything yet.
Hey, Cat Boys, be less biased. That was nice TP too. All right, I want to see it. It could start to be some problematic here as they have stalled off for the Baron for a little bit now. 5k right now. Bob Joseph hanging on the side. Valiancy, can you do this? Can you create the stall? I really don't think that they can pull it off right now. Smite picked up at a clean 1300 with the combined damage from the team. Resets are going to come through from TDE, and this is going to be a miserable 2.5 minutes if you're New Wave Tsunami.
Yeah, so now the Baron's coming through, and you gotta survive this stall. Now, the Kaisa finally has that evolved Void Seeker online, and you can start to try and poke out some of the squishier members of the composition. I think that's really New Wave Tsunami's only path to surviving this siege. For now, Valiancy can probably hang on in that top lane 1v1 versus the Gragas, but it's mainly going to be how the rest of the team faces off against the siege from the side of trickle-down economics. And we're going to have to see where they start to position. And Infernal Soul's also spawning at 50 seconds, so there's a lot going on here in the next minute.
I think you just put Valiancy top. Just put Valiancy top. You know, like, you can't contest this. I don't think you have the power. You know, if Sunny is able to land some big Void Seekers here, but that one misses, so that's full cooldown now. Does good damage. It's not worth ignoring. Yeah, Cathian Rain is also upgraded, but it's not going to be able to really cause any influence here. And we're not expecting that evolution at any point. But you can't play around choke points right now. It is a victory. It is a jinx. And now,
there we go.
There's half the jinx. This is what you need right now. You need the Kaisa to be chunking. Very close. That actually would have killed. That would have had a passive proc on top of it too. That would have been the end of Ultravox, and Ultravox has to be playing safe as a result right now. Mezuzah trying to continue the poke. There is no lanes pushing right now for the side of New Wave. Very low HP for Ultravox. Don't overextend for this if you don't have to. Leaves. Having to eat that one up. And here's the power of Kaisa. We talked about it. She's powerful at 3 items. She can make it work at 2. And 4 is terrifying. The Prey Seeker is going to be the next way in. Look at this play. Zenzen, but the cast doesn't get enough. Everyone still has HP. And Zenzen might be the first to fall. Swifty with a big gore drink to the backline. Ultravox walking away, and that is the first kill picked up. Shut down. And another one on Zenzen. There is 3. Can Valiancy find this kill? Ultravox, the only standing member of TDE, is left. And that is a 1 fight for New Wave Tsunami at the 11th hour.
Do you believe in fate, Escape? I'm starting to believe in fate here because there's no way this should be able to work. So Sunny's taking a lot of pot shots and starts to get a health advantage really early on, and Zenzen decides we have to find a full commit engage. So Chemtank walking around, body slam forward, the cast goes out a little late and the flash is there from Sunny. Therefore, all the members that matter from the side of New Wave Tsunami get to survive, and they start picking up shutdown after shutdown as all of the important damage dealers from the side of New Wave Tsunami stand strong at this 4th Drake, the Infernal Soul, and they make a critical stand.
Oh, my heart. Oh, there is fate. I don't know. Like, this is the point where, if that Ardent can start to come through, for Lulu, that's an extra item done for Kog'Maw, and that's 3-item Kog'Maw. You're getting quite close to items being done on Sunny. Swifty had an amazing fight there. Valiancy is able to clean up a couple of kills. I think if they can start to put that Camille in the side lanes, no one can answer her. Not a single person can answer her, and if you start to pull people away from that Jinx, those Void Seekers are going to start getting pretty dangerous. We're talking about that 35-minute mark, and it is creeping up a little bit faster than I think TDE was ready for. A New Wave Tsunami has a little bit of life. It is still, thank you for pointing this one out, is still a very large deficit. But, these are some strong champions. I would have said the last fight is impossible, so you know what? The next one is on the table.
Yeah, no, everything's on the table now, right? We see what happens when New Wave Tsunami can be first to a point and start defending it with these really long-range abilities. And really, by the time that trickle-down economics pull the trigger and decide they've had enough, it's kind of too late. The health bars have already tended to evaporate. So now we're going to have to see how New Wave Tsunami handles themselves in a 4-1 or 5-man siege. And they're going to start by giving up that inner tower.
Yeah, no, they just didn't have the reset timers. Sunny was on the bot side of the map for a little bit too long, and admittedly, dropping that tower right now doesn't hurt too bad. It means you can get some CS a little bit safer, but now the poke is going to come through from Sunny and from Reset. Reset's mana bar is going to be a little bit of a bigger problem. Obviously, that blue buff has been picked up for the Kaisa, trying to weave in some of these Void Seekers on the backline. They do have Valiancy pushing. There needs to be Reaper TP as the engage does come through. Reset is quite large at the moment. Big engage onto the backline, though. Picks up 2 in the Cataclysm. Flashes are burnt out. Ultravox is playing aggressive on the side. Look at that damage from Kog'Maw. 2 are found so far, though. Leaves.
Sunny dies.
Right now, there's still no TP to come through from Valiancy. I think they're just deciding, hey, let's try and trade back as best we can. Like you say, they're missing out on that Kaisa. Turret's still being held. Ollie, without ultimate at the moment, does get caught by the tornado. There's the flash! Doesn't save the life right there, and now Reset's a little bit caught out in the base. Valiancy is coming, but so is TDE. They're able to pick up the turret, able to go for this inhibitor. And you know what? Those are long death timers. It's just Valiancy. There is no wave clear on that Camille. Can you pick up the kill? This is your moment to shine, Valiancy. This is your Camille. You've been holding on to this one for a while, waiting for Swifty, I have to imagine, is the play at the moment. Can you get in? Burns the E to get away. Swifty gets body slammed. Ultravox is on the edge there, untouched, unkilled. Swifty goes down, and though there was a minor hiccup, TDE takes a confident stand and picks up this game win.
Yeah, that was never close. The gold lead, well, you just show the gold graph, and you're like, yeah, we dominated these guys. There was no point at which we were worried. Everything went to plan. Okay, so at the end of the day, right, TDE plays a really clean game. Front to back, they play it really, really well, and they shut down almost every side of the map very early on and deny every possible opportunity that Swifty can make, and ultimately there is a pretty brave stand from the side of Sunny on that Kaisa, and the amount of damage you can put out once the 2-item spike has been reached, but ultimately it's not enough to last when the Rek'Sai gets to hit you for free, and Valiancy is just not there with that teleport, and I honestly think that teleport just had to come through. I know when you're down 10,000 gold, a mistake means death, and that was the mistake. There are probably many others that could have happened, many other optimal things, but that one's probably going to be maybe not the first one brought up in the VOD review, but a bit of a lost opportunity as they were starting to mount that comeback. So overall, really clean game from the side of trickle-down economics, and New Wave Tsunami have a few things they can actually look at and be like, hey, if we don't start this game like 10,000 gold behind, I think that we're in a pretty good spot. And so they actually have a lot that they can build off of, and
Yeah.
maybe this is exactly the kind of game you want to have versus one of the teams on the top of the table when you're on the outside looking in terms of playoff standing.
Sure. I mean, you've heard me for the last 2 seasons talking about poke compositions. You know, if you can get in position, use them correctly, they can be very, very strong. I think a lot of teams undervalue them. This is a good showing from New Wave Tsunami, showing that they have a little bit of room. But as a result, you know, TDE had that massive lead, and they really never let it go. And we are going to be able to hear from Leaves in an interview following this up about how that game felt, how the lost team fight might have felt a little bit weird. But we will be able to go to an interview just before our final game of the day. We won't be gone for long, so please stick around.
That is constantly changing, always rearranging, always rearranging, always rearranging. That is constantly changing, always rearranging, always rearranging. Constantly changing, always rearranging, always rearranging, always rearranging. That is constantly changing, always rearranging, always rearranging, always rearranging.
Hello folks, I am not joined by Dax this time. I am in fact joined by Leaves of the victorious Trickle Down Economics. And you will now see that reflected on the screen. Let's go. Little NA production gap. Thank you so much, Leaves, for coming in. Congratulations, and how are you feeling after the win?
Thanks. I'm feeling pretty good. Really glad that I could finally play a very damage-oriented champion for our team.
Yeah, I mean, Rek'Sai is about as it's about as damage hungry as it comes without getting into the yees of the jungle pool, so to speak. Those kind of kill hungry champions. So let's talk about this matchup in the draft. I do want to ask you more about the Rek'Sai in a moment, but let's look at the overall layout of this. You folks opted into the early Gragas pick for Zen, which he played pretty well, minus here and there, let's say. But otherwise, I thought that was an interesting adaptation for you folks, as well as bringing in this Rek'Sai, something we don't see often. What were your thoughts overall on this matchup and what you were up against?
Yeah, so I think overall our thoughts were that we wanted to have Zane be on something that was kind of self-sufficient. We knew that if he played Gragas, that even if he wasn't necessarily going to win lane, he'd be able to go even and neutralize whatever he was going to be up against. And that would like better enable us to play more around bot and mid than even we normally do. As for the Rek'Sai, we wanted to make sure that we got like a really strong early lead, and Rek'Sai has probably one of the highest pressure ganks out of any jungler in the early game. So you can just get so much pressure off on any immobile champion. And since they locked in several of those, it just seemed like a natural choice.
Yeah, for sure. In this game, we did see you matching up against the J4, and I felt like this was a showcase match for you, Rek'Sai. It has the propensity for those flashy plays. I felt like you were able to do a lot of work in breaking up and dividing these fights, getting into the back line, and just sort of tearing things up there, disrupting things so that they couldn't fight in a straight up front to back style, which I think was looking forward to the fight. I think that was the only time that you folks were unable to break that up. I felt like you folks had a good handle on, even if they had the stronger team fight comp, you guys were even able to, in most fashions, actually go toe to toe with them. So what were your thoughts sort of building up to this play, and then the inevitable fallout and recovery from this dragon fight that you guys had a stumble on?
Yeah, so we had some disagreements in our team chat about how we should be approaching that fight. And because of the nature of how quickly it ended up actually going down, we weren't all on the same page, and some of our players were not present where they needed to be. But as you said, we ended up just taking a look at it and saying, okay, this didn't really work. And we went back to how we were playing it before.
Yeah, and I think that's really what it takes. It helps when you have a significant gold lead to cushion the fall as well as the dragon advantage. But yeah, it's one of those things where you just got to take it on the chin, learn the lesson, and move forward, which TDE was able to do clearly in this game as they come up with the win, looking strong yet again. So thank you, Leaves, for joining us for this interview. Congratulations to TDE. Before we step away, though, your opportunity for any final thoughts.
Please let me play Rek'Sai again. Zane. I'm talking directly to you, Zane.
Right on. The public appeal to reason. All right. Well, Leaves, thanks so much, folks. We're going to take a short break, but we do have one more game of action coming at you very soon. So don't go too far. We'll be back in just a moment.